Good morning, TSU. My name is Devoun Rushing. I am an advertising and PR major. So this morning we're going to be having an interview with Hardbody Kiotti. I'm sure most of you guys know him from the Mad Hatter Morning Show. Well, he's no longer with the Mad Hatter Morning Show, but we're going to be giving him an interview, see if we can get some information, have some good talks. How y'all doing this morning? Y'all can talk in the chat. Good morning. That's what's up. So we're just waiting for him to come in.
He's online. We'll bring him up.
Okay, thank you. That's what's up. So we're just waiting for him. Good morning. Oh man, we can't hear him.
He's online. We'll bring him up.
What's going on? Good morning. Can you hear me?
I can hear you now. How's
What's
it
going
going?
on with you? Oh man, all is well. All is well.
Amen. That's good to hear. So my name is Devoun. I am an advertising and public relations student here at TSU. I'm a
Okay.
junior. And yeah, it's good to have this conversation with you this morning. So
Definitely.
So you're a Houston native, right?
Yeah, of course.
Okay. And I think everybody knows you. Pretty much Hardbody Kiotti, uh,
Yeah.
one of the one of the lead radio hosts for the 97.9 The Box, well, formerly
Right,
97.9
right,
The
right,
Box.
right, right.
Um, I think everybody pretty much knows that about you, but I don't know if everybody really knows how you got to that point. So I kind of wanted to have an opportunity for you to tell us a little bit about that, especially Black college students. How did you get to that point?
Right. Well, first and foremost, appreciate you guys, for having me this morning. Glad to be able to, get on here and speak and, just come share information, some of my story. I originally, when I started out in radio, it probably was the most unconventional radio start ever. I literally probably got my job, and this is gonna sound terrible, especially to a room full of students that probably like, yo, I mean, I'm going to school for this. I'm waiting for my big shot, my break. Man, I probably started doing radio in about, I had my own show in probably about two weeks, 2 weekends. Literally went to
Wow.
Univision, and I had been freestyling. I really got my radio start from freestyling. I would freestyle at 97.9 just as an artist, even to the point to where artists like Puff Daddy would try to sign me. Like I had a lot of dope interactions just freestyling around the city, going to 106 and Park and some other things. And opportunity opened up. My radio career really started freestyling at a beach party. I went to a beach party and one of the groups didn't show up. They had 10 minutes to kill, basically. And the program director was like, well, what are we going to do for 10 minutes? As a joke, somebody was like, well, just let Kiotti freestyle. I was like, for 10 minutes? And she was spazzing out. So they ended up letting me go freestyle, and I freestyled for like 10 minutes. And she was impressed and ended up offering me an opportunity to come finally freestyle for her radio station, which was Univision at the time. And whenever I went, that ended up turning into a job opportunity for me. My manager at the time, Steve Chavez, was like, hey, you ever thought about doing radio? And I was like, no, not really. I'm an artist. I'm a rapper. I'm a rapper. And what ended up happening was when I went in the meeting and I started talking the business of radio about like how much they were paying and those type of numbers. I called my fiance, who is now my wife, because of course I never had a real job. Like radio was the first thing that I've ever done professionally as a career. And I was like, hey, they got benefits. She was like, they got benefits? Ask her they got benefits. So I'm like, what are benefits? Y'all got benefits? And my boss at the time was laughing like, yeah, of course we have benefits. This is a company. So when I said, yeah, they got benefits. She was like, tell them, yeah, you'll do it. I'm like, cool, I'm in. So that really was my start in radio. Went in one weekend, and if it was a Saturday or a Sunday, I learned how to run the boards. On that Monday, they ended up firing the afternoon drive guy, and they moved the night guy up. And then they asked me that I want to do a night show, and I was like, cool. And that's how my radio journey started, literally from freestyling into being inside of the radio industry and actually learning how to work boards and what a break is and how to do a good break and the difference between a good and a bad break and those type things. And whenever they ended up flipping signals, I think I was the only person that migrated over to 97.9. And so that's how I got to 97.9 The Box. So that's how my radio journey started.
That's actually quite interesting because I think it's important for people to realize sometimes you only get one shot. And like you have to be ready. Like you cannot try to get ready in the moment. Like, you know how they always say, be ready so you don't have to get ready.
Right.
So you were in that type of situation. You was ready. You was on the spot like, all right, let me go ahead and freestyle. Look at what all came from that.
Right. You got to be prepared when those opportunities come. And then I know now, when we start, we say radio boss and things like that, but we didn't always start as radio boss. Like whenever I got to 97.9, and this is real, my wife will tell you, I came in doing weekends part-time, and that's $10 an hour. I want to be very honest with y'all what the pay was whenever I started. $10 an hour. So imagine you're doing weekends. So I think my checks at the radio station, after they took taxes out, my checks may have been about $92. You know what I'm saying? After they took out taxes, we was not making no real money. Like legit, you're doing part-time work and you're working on the weekend. So imagine if your weekend shift is, let's say 3-4 hours times $10. So if you're going Saturday, Sunday, that's $80. For 2 weeks, that may be $190. So after you take out taxes and those other things, yeah, it was no glamour. A lot of people be quick to, man, I can't wait to do radio and TV, man. There's glamour. I'm finna be popping. No. We showed up ready to work. We showed up on the weekends and we did the shifts that nobody wanted to do. And we grinded and we didn't skip any steps. We learned everything that it took to be a dope radio personality or on their personality. And it started at $10 an hour. So I always like to point that out because I know in our minds, we feel like, man, we're going to walk into these situations. And as soon as we get there, baby, it's game time. We finna take off and it don't start like that. Everybody has a process, and going through that process is what makes the end result so special. You know what I'm saying? So I always just like to point that out and illustrate that.
It could definitely be. I'm sure it's hard because I know like as a student now, a lot of the opportunities or internships, like they're either unpaid or they pay very little. And it's like, you gotta make a living too. Like you gotta survive. So would you kind of say like it took some resilience, like you being able to do that? Was it some type of characteristics that your upbringing or some things that you've been through allowed you to do that, knowing like I'm not really getting paid that much, but maybe this will be a catalyst to something else in my future.
Right. I feel like going into any situation, you've always got to have a plan. Like it's got to be. You have to have an underlying belief that this is a stepping stone. And anything that I've ever done inside of my career, I've always moved and operated like these things are stepping stones. This is just a point for me to get from point A to B. And so whenever I started part-time, I was like, well, no, I know I just came from having my own night show. So for me, let's just grind. Let's grind it out. Let's work and let's make it happen. So when I first started, and remember, I was doing On Their Personality. It started as that, but I was filming interviews. I was editing videos. It was a lot of other extra stuff that I was doing. I didn't like social media at first. Hated social media. Again, rappers at that point, you didn't get paid about you like you were supposed to be mysterious and you were supposed to have the business that everybody didn't know. And social media is now when you wake up, we want to see what
Yep.
do you put peanut butter or jam on your toast? Do you like bananas and oatmeal? The people just want to know the craziest stuff. And at first I wasn't really with that. So when I came in, I was like, I'm gonna just work, we're gonna film, we're gonna edit, we're gonna do these things. And I just always had a belief that things would go better, things would work better for me the harder I worked and the longer that things progressed. And it did end up working out for me.
So to add to that, how much do you think social media is, well, first of all, is it a large part of the industry now?
Now it is. So I was at 97.9 for 10 years. Can you imagine how much things have changed in 10 years? I laugh. One of my most epic interviews, actually probably my first viral clip on social media was with Lil Boosie whenever he got out of jail. And I asked him, hey, Boo, let's take a selfie. He had only been in jail for like 5 years. He was like, what's a selfie? And so everybody in the room starts laughing because when he left, he was like, I only been gone 5 years. Like, well, how much can change in 5 years? So
A lot.
And technology is moving quicker. So in a 10-year span, man, at first, it was like, nah, social media, whatever. Now, man, I feel like the industry is moving more into that. If you're a radio host, back in the day, they used to have this theory that radio, you're supposed to be heard, not seen. So it will be people who you would listen to on the radio, and then when you finally meet them, you'll be like, dang, that's how you look. When people see me, they be like,
Yeah.
hey, bro, you sound taller than that. What does that mean? I sound taller than that. You know what I'm saying? But just in their mind, they just have this perception of when they hear your voice, oh, this is what they look like. And now, social media, if you say something that I like, I'm going to be like, man, let me go on their Instagram and see what they look like. So that's why now, even when people be like, I didn't know what you look like. Like, bro, I'm busting on Instagram. Bro, go check me out. You know what I'm saying? Go check out my page. So it plays a very important part now. I will say that I feel like the industry is changing, and as a young radio professional, or let me say a young media professional, it's bigger than just radio. As a young media professional, I feel like you've got to remember that people want to see you. And so if what you're trying to do is set up something where you're just going to be heard and you can be, no, people want to see what you look like now. Social media is really more a part of it. You got to look at the fact that when I walked away from radio 6 months ago, nothing has stopped for me. My social media presence is the same. Actually, is growing on different platforms because of how I do my show now. But nothing stopped. It's still people that don't know that I don't work at the radio station. Honestly, just because, again, I'm doing what I do. And it's the social media now is really another extended lifeline. It just clears up a lot of the drama, the confusion. Us and our relationship with artists are a lot stronger because of social media. Now, keep it real. If you go to a festival, a show, a concert, a club, if they say somebody is coming, what's the first thing you do? Let me check this Instagram and see if they post a flyer or something on there.
That's exactly what we do.
Let me make sure they really
somebody tell you about a new restaurant. What you gonna go do? Go look at the Instagram page.
You like, let me check this out. So that's what we're doing. Now we're on the real stuff like, nah, man, I'm on the gram. I'm finna go find out what the real story is. Because again, we understand that media, and we're a part of the media. Just because it's media, a lot of times, a lot of us have fallen in love with the practice of being first, or they're falling in love with the practice of being right. And so now that we're in that climate, more people are starting to say, well, now let's be sure that this is the right thing. Let's be sure that, you know what I'm saying? So now social media is very, very important. So for some of you guys that may not be comfortable doing social media, I can't tell you, hey man, jump out there and just bear your deepest thoughts and feelings to these people. I'm not going to tell y'all to do that. But what I will tell you is that you have to understand you're in a competitive realm, and a lot of times the small things will separate you from another radio personality. So I know me personally, that even now, me not doing radio, there's no other radio personality inside the market that has more of a social media following than I do. And that's a fact. Like we can go look at numbers and metrics and things like that. So what I say is for you guys, you have to focus on what you can control. You may not be able to control nobody's platform. You can control your social media and your brand. So you have to invest in that.
So you said you left about 6 months ago.
Right.
Why did you leave?
Man, I've been waiting for y'all. No, I'm playing. Honestly, anytime people say that, you be ready for the drama, right? So I'm an advocate that believes in build your brand. It can feed you forever. Have been with the box 10 years. Again, I'm gonna give y'all the fast version. Started out part-time on weekends. Here's the realest part that I found out later in the game. So even though I was part-time and weekends, I knew I had value within my market, within the city. Another radio station came into the market that was at that time 93.7 The Beat. And so I wouldn't be forced to make a decision financially. 97.9 offered me a job full-time. And I didn't even know another station was coming. I just knew that, man, they finally offered me a full-time position. And I was like, all right, cool. But I'm like, well, so what slot? They don't have any slots for me. I don't understand, like, where you're going to put me. They made a spot for me. So, listen, they literally invented, if you listen to 97.9, they had late night hype. They made that for me. There was no late night hype show until they gave me a job, right? So
Created it for you.
They created a lane for me because they understood my value. A lot of time these companies, and being real with y'all, they understand your value, but until their hand is forced, they're not going to move to do anything to put you in a better position. They could have been gave me my own slot, but they didn't until there was a threat that another brand would see my value and pay me my worth. That's whenever they open the doors and, hey, you know what? You done such an incredible job. Hey, man, we have a new show, and we're going to give you from 11 to 2 in the morning. I was like, that's not even really like no slot, but cool, I'll take it. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So now I know, okay, man, these people have created a lane for me. Dope. So then there was something happened. I went from late night hype, and now I'm the night show guy. 6 years, I did night show. Number one night show in the city. For 6 years, killing it at nights. So they had a transition, and I want to say the end of 2019 going into 2020, they asked that I want to take over and be the new morning show host because they had some business dealings that went through. And my homie, one of my radio mentors, Mad Hatter, he was stepping away to do something different. So they said, would you like to come and be the host of the morning show? So honestly, my first question was, well, where's Hatter? What's going on with Hatter? I reached out to Hatter.
Right.
Then the second thing was cool. So now I went from part-time weekends to they made a show for me, to number one night show host for 6 years in a row, to now I'm the host of the morning show in my hometown on the station that I grew up listening to, right? So for me, this is like some unicorn stuff. Stuff like that doesn't happen, right? You don't normally go and get a job in radio in the city that you were raised in and you're homegrown talent. Doesn't really happen like that, but it happened like that for me. So you finally get to that point in the game to where you're the big guy. It's Kiotti. It was me, Keisha. At some point they added J Mac. We made Good Morning H-Town. So now I'm driving the bus, right? And people are looking and it's like, man, this is crazy. You finally get to be the morning show guy. You did it. Why would you walk away from that? Well, for me, there were certain business things that didn't line up. Just being all the way honest, there was nothing emotional. It was no disrespect to anybody, any of my coworkers, my bosses, none of that. But I understand my brand and I understand some of the opportunities that I wanted moving forward. And I understand where the industry is going. That sounds crazy, but what I want to remind and kind of help people understand is vision is something that everybody doesn't have. We're in the middle of a pandemic. I'm the leader of the morning show, and we're working and we're grinding and we're building this new thing. And a pandemic happens. And so what happens? At this point, now they start firing people. They start doing cutbacks. They start doing all kind of things. And then what happens? All of these top radio brands, Breakfast Club, Big Boy, Nick Cannon, us included, are having to do radio from their house. And so I'm like, okay, things are changing. I'm watching. Eventually, these businesses, now they're downsizing. The revenue is not coming in. They're firing people. They're changing the whole protocol of radio due to this pandemic. And what I understood was, I was like, wait a minute. Man, really, we could do this from the house. Really, if you invest in yourself, you build your brand, you could really do this from the house. The way the business is set up, a lot of time you get paid from revenue dollars. And if you look at the social media business model, you have influencers that get paid for just doing posts on Instagram. Guys, my homegirl, Lyra Galore, I found her in a hotel. She came out. I was working out at a hotel, and she comes out of the elevator, and I'm like, sis. She's like, bro. She gives me a hug. I say, I gotta ask you a question. I always see, and this gonna bless somebody watching. I say, man, you're always posting these Fashion Nova ads. Why do you keep like? They gotta be taking care of you. She said, bro.
Yes, sir.
She said, them posts. She was like, just understand. You see one of them posts, that might be a $10,000 check. I said, ooh.
Woo.
Man. So when y'all see these people posting the Fashion Nova hashtag, Fashion Nova partner, Fashion Nova ad, you get paid for that.
Exactly.
Which goes back to point number A. Build your brand. Your brand can feed you forever. Remember I told y'all that.
But even like with the pandemic, I felt like a lot of people needed to take that pivot. Yeah. Like we're realizing now that we can work from home, and people are oftentimes more productive working from home. But even like in your situation, radio, it can be done from home. It does not have to be done in a studio. Your studio can be at home.
Right. What I understood too was this. People are important, right? If you really think about, and this is contrary to what they teach you in radio. In radio, TV as well, media together, they tell you that the brand is the most important thing, right? And so you do all of these things to add your validity to a brand. This might sound crazy, but think about what I'm telling you right now. 97.9 has never been to a school. 97.9 has never been to a club. 97.9 is a logo. It's a building. Kiotti put on 97.9's logo and would go places and be the ambassador for the brand. So your validity as a brand adds value to other people's brand. And you got to remember that. You know what I'm saying? So for me, I understood, man, wait. Really? If you look at the business model and the opportunities, I was at a point to where my contract, I was not under a contract. When I walked away, there was nothing anyone could have done to stop what I was doing. I wasn't violating any of the practices or nothing like that. I wasn't under contract. So for me, it was like, yo, we took advantage of the morning show. And when I walked into the morning show, they didn't give us a contract. So for me, it was a step of faith. At any time, they could have been like, hey, man, whatever, like, let them go. But I said, no, you know what? Let me go be a number one morning show host, too. Let me see if I can go be a number one morning show host. I've been number one in nights, weekends. Let me see if I could be number one morning show. And God honest truth, we didn't lose to the Breakfast Club one time. So again, for me, being homegrown, and you got to bet on you. I bet on me. I understand my value. And I'm like, man, I'm cool. You know, at the end of the day, whenever they finally came with a contract, I was like, no, I'm cool. I'm okay. They were like, what? You gonna walk away from? I was like, yeah, I'm cool. Because you got to understand your brand. If you valued my brand, then whenever you brought me into the situation, you would have locked me in. I wouldn't have been able to walk away, because at the end of the day, you would have had me in a contract, and I would have been obligated to stick to my contract. But you didn't do that. So you gave me the opportunity.
Control over your brand.
Absolutely. You gave me the opportunity to bet on myself, and I did. And so now on my resume, I also have #1 morning show host. You see what I'm saying? So for
Right.
me, it's just about understanding your brand and you betting on you. I wasn't mad at nobody when I left. It was no bad blood. Well, on my end, it wasn't no bad blood. But you know, so again, you got to bet on you. You got to build your brand. You got to stand on your brand now.
You gotta do what's best for you.
Yep, for real.
So, I mean, since you're talking about marketing, basically, I don't think a lot of people know that you got your hands in marketing too. From what I understand, you're doing marketing for Darius J.
Yeah. Darius J is the homie, man. So well, even though I left, guys, I will tell you guys this. Uh, I definitely had other businesses rocking and rolling. You know what I'm saying? I didn't jump out the window with no parachute. Being a businessman and kind of doing some other things will facilitate your growth as well. So while you're inside of these platforms, be sure that you're building things that add to your bottom line so you don't have to be dependent on other people and other brands. You got to remember that, again, we're going to go back to the first thing I always said, build your brand. So we have my own clothing line, the Rep the City brand. We just got a write-up in the Chronicle. We have Houston versus all y'all. And it's been something we've been doing for years. And so Gucci just did Houston versus everyone. And people are like, no, Kiotti got his own brand, which again, repthecitybrand.com. You can go and look at the merch that we've been doing. So I had other things going on. Marketing, Umbrella Marketing Group. I have a marketing company where we market not only for artists, we also do marketing for events. We do social media marketing as well. That's become a thing. And so marketing is something that we do for talented artists like Darius J, who I'm telling y'all now, because I know y'all like to be first and y'all like to be on the upswing of things. Darius J, and I hate comparing them to people, but man, the brother has Chris Brown level talent. So again,
No, he does. He
for real.
does. I won't even lie. I just discovered him, and I started to listen to some of them songs. I'm like, okay, bro, I see you. I see you. I really do like it.
Yeah, Darius J is super talented, guys. Put your ears on him. Hardworking young brother. He makes some jamming music. We actually are working on something for him right now. Actually, since we're talking marketing, I'll give y'all the quick. We're actually working on 2 different marketing campaigns for him. One marketing campaign is a brand building campaign, and then we're also working on a separate social media marketing campaign for Darius J as well. So again, marketing is something that we take seriously as well. So you definitely have to understand. Shout out Sir Charles. Social media marketing is my minor. Reach out. Let's talk. Reach out. Let's
Go
build,
ahead,
man.
hit him
I
up.
think that's a beautiful thing. That's a good thing. I always tell people your brand is the car. Marketing is the gas money. So you always have to put into your marketing, whether that's the cameras that you buy, whether that's the person who you pay to do your graphics, your look, whether that's your styling. Always invest into your brand. Marketing is what makes it move. I don't care how dope you are, how tight you are. I had a chance to sit down with Pharrell, and I only had a chance to ask him one question. So, me being the thoughtful person I am, I asked him, what advice would you give an upcoming producer that had a lot of heat, but possibly not a lot of people to give it to? He said, tell him to give it away. He said, what? I was like, excuse me?
What?
He said, tell him to give it away. He said, if you have a dope producer and he finds a talented artist, tell him don't make it about the short-term money, make it about the long-term. Give it to him. If he turns it into a hit and you taking care of your business with the publishing and those things, now you're in a point where you've used his brand to build your brand. And you've used his brand. Now that's marketing for you. That's a business card for you. I was like, oh, that's live. I ain't look at it like that. You know what I'm saying? So again, man, those things, your brand is the card, your marketing is the gas money, man. How much gas money you put into your brand is up to you. Some people, you got them $2 gas people. Hey, let me get $2 on pump number 5. And every mile you trying to put a little something in. You got other people who have the belief, you know what, if I fill my car up and I put premium in, it's going to be a better ride. I can go further if I go ahead and fill my car up. You know what I'm saying? So again, just based on you and what you subscribe to, either way, subscribe to your marketing, man. Especially as young creatives, as young media professionals, that marketing could be the very, very small things that set you aside from other people. I'm telling you, I've gotten opportunities based on people calling me and saying, hey, we did our market research, and looking at your social media, you have a bigger following than such and such, or you have higher engagement than such and such. Genuine engagement, not the kind that people pay for, because we can tell when people pay for that engagement too.
Right.
That's another conversation.
But quality too, right? Because like I know sometimes if I go to a website and it looked like a website from the early 2000s, I'm probably not going to get anything from that company.
You don't want that juvenile. You don't want that for the 99 and 2000 website. You don't want that.
No, I'm good, bro, because I feel like at that point there's some type of fraudulent stuff going on your website.
True.
So like I feel like the quality makes a difference too, but basically what you're saying is you get out what you put in. And
Absolutely.
I think especially to students, especially Black students, we sometimes forget that we have to set a certain standard and a certain bar, and people are already looking at us and expecting for us to fail. So like you have to put in what you think you want to get out of this. If you keep on putting in mediocre, what you gonna get back? Mediocre, right?
Yeah, absolutely. When I walked away, I could have jumped on my phone, just did a live. You know what I'm saying? You got people that go live on their phone all the time. Nothing's wrong with that. But I said, man, for me, it's about really being a boss. Like I don't take the term radio boss small. And a lot of people thought it was about, it's about the radio. And no. See, here goes the marketing and branding. I understood radio was the vehicle, right? Boss is the mentality. I've always been a boss. My wife would tell y'all, it is scary. I don't lose. I could count on one hand the times I've lost at something that I've tried to do in real life. I don't lose. So boss was the mentality. You have people like Floyd Mayweather that have been boxing since he was 7, and he's undefeated in his professional. And people be like, man, I'm waiting for him to lose. Y'all, he don't understand what losing is. Mentally, I don't even wrap my mind around what a loss is. I couldn't tell you. You know what I'm saying? I've taken losses, but I don't lose. There's a difference. A loss is the lesson, right? A loss is, man, I can't believe, man, I made a bad investment and I lost some money. A loss is, oh, man, I invested into this person and their moral character or their moral fiber wasn't what I thought it was. And that, man, that's who maybe I shouldn't have been doing business with them. That's a loss. We all take losses. I don't lose. Whenever we walked away, I said, man, you know what, man, I got with my wife. Teamwork is important, guys. For you guys that are out here inside of relationships, man, being on one page with who you with is everything. Believe that. That might not make sense now, especially to a college kid, right? They're like, nah, brother, we live in life. Hot girl summer, get the pandemic, turkey leg, cut, twerking, all that. I get it, right? But trust me, you're going to have to understand that at a certain point, man, especially as you build these empires and you build with your wife or you build with your husband or your other half or whatever you call it, or even on a more business level, as you build with your business partner, right? There'll be certain things and the communication has to be there. So I said, you know what? Let's keep going. Went out and bought my microphones. If y'all look right now, we're broadcasting live from inside of my home studio. My wife took what was a sneaker room, and basically we turned my sneaker room into my studio. So now we have broadcast equipment for any creatives that are into broadcasting and you're trying to do it. I'll tell you now, I use a Rodecaster Pro pre-game, a Rodecaster Pro. The Rodecaster Pro, you can load it up. I can load all of my own sound effects in. We ready to go. I have my morning show now, the AM Wake Up Show, and a lot of my stuff I literally can run from
waking up in the morning. The AM Wake Up Show with Kiotti, the livest show on the internet. Entertainment, interviews, family views, and news you can use.
Nothing changes. I have drops, talk beds. I still have everything. Nothing's changed. The only thing that's changed is the location. The only thing that's changed is the building that I was in. Nothing changed about me broadcasting or me doing my own thing, the AM Wake Up Show, where every morning I get up and I go live from Facebook. And I also, and another, I use Restream. Well, I use StreamYard, but I use Restream as well. So for influencers that have brands, and so I have over 5,000 like subscribers on YouTube. I have like over 17,000 people on Facebook. And so for me, it's like, man, how do I go between the both of them? And you can monetize on YouTube and Facebook,
Right.
which is why I chose to stream through those and not quote unquote be the podcast guy and, do that. So for me right now, it was about exploring the social media spaces. And that's why, again, I was like, man, come on, let's just figure out this Restream. Let's figure out the thing. So now I stream every morning from right here. My ride to work is a walk up the stairs. It's amazing. It's the best thing ever, right? So for me, I'm on Twitch. I'm on Facebook, and I'm also on YouTube every morning. And so what I found out was my consistency of streaming on those sites and apps have built my number on YouTube and built my numbers on Facebook. So what I'm telling you is your consistency matters. So right now I'm still doing radio, right, for free. I don't get paid to do this. People thought the process was over. My process is not over. Right now, it's about, hey, man, how can you get up and show that even when it's not about the bread? If it was about money, y'all, I would have been stopped doing media. But it's not about the money. Right now, it's about, let me show people that if you grow your brand, you can still provide and feed a family off of your brand, right? So for me, that's the underlying tone, which goes back to the message from step number 1. Build your brand. It's still people that come look for me. I still get gigs, concerts, real relationships, and build your relationships. Oh man, that was the part that I forgot. Build your relationships, y'all. Build your relationships. What was it, yesterday? Yesterday. I just did an event for DaBaby. And I'm not working at radio right now, y'all.
Mm-hmm.
DaBaby didn't go to the radio station and say, hey, can I get somebody to? No. Based on our relationship and the early support and the real communication outside of the station, whenever I wanted to interview DaBaby, the station didn't even know who DaBaby was. They were like, who is that? That's the guy in the pamphlet.
Wow.
And no, but this is a real relationship that I had. And I said, no, this is somebody we need to interview. And I fought for it, and we brought him in and interviewed him. And the relationship was amazing. When I saw him last night, he said, hey, he gave me a hug. He pulled me in and said, hey, I know you ain't doing radio no more. What you need me to do to support you? Like, tell me what you need. Like, how can I assist you with the new things that you have going on? And so what I told him was, so you guys know, I want to lace you guys up. I said, well, hey, man, I just started a brand new media platform called Inside the Culture. And basically what Inside the Culture is our version of an Inside Edition, man. So many of these people benefit from our culture, but they're not really a part of our culture. What I'm going to do is start a media platform that's going to take you inside the culture. And DaBaby will be one of our first guests that will be on my new platform called Inside the Culture. So again, that's me building and continuing to pour into the believe in you. You got to believe in yourself. You got to build your own brand. That's what we're doing with Inside the Culture. I'm reaching out to other young creatives, other young media professionals, and giving them chances. Like if it's a dope student right now, right? And they're like, yo, man, I'm passionate about doing interviews. I'm passionate about building my brand. Link up. Let's go. I got things that we're building right now. If you're trying to learn how to build your brand, that's what I do. If you're trying to get into the media space and find out unconventional ways to tap in with these artists and tap in, that's what I do. You know what I'm saying? So again, Inside the Culture, you guys are really getting the sneak peek. Somebody record this video. In 5 years, this video is going to be monumental because remember, we talked about Inside the Culture before it did anything, right? Before it got big, before it did what I know it's going to do. Because remember, let's go back.
Yeah.
I don't lose. Remember, I told y'all that. I don't lose, right? So whenever it goes and grows into whatever God has ordained for it, whatever the process takes us through, remember we told y'all what it was going to become. But it started like that because, again, we had a thought and an idea. So Inside the Culture will be the next thing that you guys see me starting to promote. And here's the best part about it. It's not about me. I'm going to use my brand to grow it and to build the momentum. But Radio Boss want to get out the way. The new thing is Radio Boss, TV Boss, right? TV Boss is the next thing. So again, all I'm doing is backing up, and I want to put other young creatives in a position to where they can build their brand and go. Remember, I've been inside the system where people want you to build their brand and stay. That's not what I'm about. I'm about how do we help you build your brand, and when you leave, remember, marketing is the gas money. When you leave, they're like, man, where you got your start at? Oh, man, I was on Inside the Culture, man. The bro hooked us up with all kind of superstars, celebrities, taught us how to do this and that, and now I'm doing my own thing. Boom. Now the next young person like, well, how do we get down with Inside the Culture? It's the marketing. When you do right, you help people build a brand and let them go. I'm not trying to hold nobody. Build your brand and go. This is a platform. This is supposed to keep going. You're supposed to get the new blood pumping all the time. So, again, that's what Inside the Culture is about. So, being a young media professionals that, may not be looking for conventional avenues of growing and building your brand, holla at me. Let's go.
Sir, I feel like it's not often that like you hear black men, especially black men that have become successful, they don't always come back and try to help people out. And in this situation, I see that you're trying to build the community along with building your career.
Absolutely.
But you're there. It's like, why not reach back out, help the community out, bring them up with you? I appreciate that, Kiotti. I really do. Too often we don't see that. We don't see enough of it. And especially like going to an HBCU, a lot of times our alumni, they will come back and they'll maybe help out the school. But what about the people in the community? And that's something that you're doing.
Yeah, so we transitioned my clothing brand into Love the City brand, right? Because really for us, that's the answer. That's the key. We really got to love on the city. A lot of time, and I'm learning more about the stock market and all that kind of stuff, but I invest in people, right? I feel like people are our most important resource. It's certain knowledge and information that if you give it to the right person, it turns into something that becomes even more productive. So I invest in people. I like rocking with people, talking to people, touching people. I have to stop saying mentor, right? Because I probably mentor way too many people. Like I'm probably mentoring out. Like because people, I give away the information for free, which is what you should do. But sometimes it can become a lot. You know what I'm saying? So for me, man, it's really about how do we build up these other young brothers and sisters out here. And hopefully you invest in the right person and they pay it forward to the next person. You know what I'm saying? So really that's what it's about, man. Anytime it's any kind of questions or, quick stuff that I can help out with, I have no problem giving you the information. As young creatives, you got to remember information is key, right? That's the thing that they don't want us to have. These kind of candid conversations are what they don't want us to have. Because again, if we don't have people that show you, hey, you can do this by yourself. Or a lot of time when it comes to what kind of equipment do you use? Oh man, I ain't telling you. It's like you keep everything instead of telling somebody, well,
right. Somebody
will be like, hey bro, your camera look crispy. What are you using? Well, no, I don't use the regular HD camera. I'm building a media company. So I use one of my Sony A7 R2s with a Sigma 40 lens, and it gives me a crazy crispy look, which is good for television production and other things as well. So my live setup may look a little more crispy than if somebody jumps on the phone. You know what I'm saying? There are people that pay attention to those small differences. Now, I'm not telling you to go and do that, but what I'm telling you is that, no, I went ahead and made that little investment. So when I do go live and people do find my channel, or when they do go look, they're like, oh man, I could tell bro take this serious. Like this ain't just somebody on here trying to do something. He's really a professional. He's really serious about what he's telling you. You know what I'm saying?
Well, that goes back to us talking about quality.
Yep.
You get back what you put out.
Gotta invest in you. You've got to invest in you. I really believe in that, man, 1,000%. So you got to build your brand will feed you forever. And relationships are way more important than money. Never forget that. Those are the two things that I always stress. Build your brand that can feed you forever. And two, relationships are way, way more important than money. You guys at TSU actually have an amazing resource with Mad Hatter. I haven't talked to my brother in a few months, right? But what I will tell y'all is that the brother is somebody who is passionate about radio. He's passionate about young people. And in real life, he's a good dude, right? He's a real life stand-up guy. Really, really good guy. If you can learn from that brother, man, get up under that brother and learn from that brother, man. He's a great brother to learn from. I know he's busy, has a lot going on, but he's right there with you guys at TSU.
Right,
The
the vibe.
vibe, man, that is. I don't know if y'all even understand the amount of wealth, the wealth of wisdom that you have over there with the brother Mad Hatter. So again, even in my journey, he's somebody who I looked up to. And he's probably one of the people that helped me hit the switch to start taking this radio thing serious. We had a conversation I'll share with you guys because I could only imagine how many of us are going through the same thing right now. He pulled me to the side and he told me, hey, man, and this is going to sound funny, but I'm going to tell y'all what he told me. Man, you tripping. I'm thinking he playing. I'm like, what you talking about? Hey, man, you tripping, man. You treating this thing like your girlfriend. You're supposed to treat this thing like your wife. Like, what? Hey, man, who are you talking to, man? Like, what are you? I'm the radio boss, brother. I'm out here. We here. Shook his head like that. Like, young, dumb dummy, right? You know what I'm saying? So I said, man, what are you talking about? He said, man, you're super talented. Whenever you really tap into being the dopest media personality you can be, a lot of the other stuff that you want to do, the doors will open up for that. But first, man, you got to really take advantage and really lock into where you're at now. Whenever you really lock in to be the best here, then it opens up because a lot of people are good. I wanted to be the best radio personality in Houston. My personal goal for this year, just sharing, because I set goals, is to be the biggest media personality in Texas by the end of the year. News or radio, right? That's where we're at right now. Again, you definitely can set goals for yourself and you can do things that will put you on the right path. Sometimes it's just about hitting the reset button and you understanding that, man, if I take this serious, I can really turn this into something that feeds my family. I can turn this into something that builds my brand and makes it easier for me in the long run because the radio industry is getting smaller, y'all. The radio industry is getting smaller. If you're saying, hey, man, I want to do radio, I want to do TV, I want to put something on y'all mind, the industry is changing. Now, if I want to, we were growing up, if we wanted to hear a song, we would listen to the radio. If you want to hear a song, you're going to get on Tidal or YouTube or Apple Music and listen to the song immediately. So nobody's listening to radio for music. They're listening to radio for the people, which again goes against the teaching of radio, which is it's about the brand. It's about the people. Don't ever get that twisted. We can hear the same music anywhere. If I'm going to listen to you, I want to hear your social commentary. I want to feel like I can relate to you as a person. I want to feel like we have something in common. I want to feel compelled. I want to laugh, cry, or be informed. As a media personality, those are the main three things that you have to make people feel something. Am I mad at what you said? Do I agree with what you said? Do I disagree with what you said? Do I feel what you said? It has to be something that compels me to grow with you as a media personality. So, just being young people, you always got to remember that. And somebody may not have told you that. Some of you guys really thinks it's about likes and impressions. It's about people liking you in real life. So for you have to do something that compels them to really grow with you as a person. They have to like you as a person in real life. What have you done to make them laugh, cry, get mad, agree with what you said? You have to do. It's not about the viral. The viral is cool, but I want you to think about how many viral things have come and gone. Viral is right now, quick flash, out the way. I don't want to be viral. I want to be valuable. I want to be around for a long time. So that's why I move the way that I move. So,
Which makes sense because we see a lot of these, some of these personalities, like they develop these images on social media, and we do think that they are a certain way. And then when you meet them in public and you try to have a conversation, it's completely different. It's not the same as the image that has been portrayed of that person.
True. Very true.
And that's pretty much what social media is doing. If anybody has any questions, we do want to open up for you to ask any questions to Kiotti. The chat is open.
Somebody said Maxo too. Yeah, definitely we'll sit down with Maxo. I actually did Maxo's first interview on radio as well. We talked about it when I saw him in the hallway at the Babies event. And I think that's another thing, man, just a lot of goodwill and just treating people the right way. We treat everybody the same. And that's one thing that, you guys will learn in this industry, man, that your relationships and how you treat people says a lot about you as a person as well. I started off rapping. Am I still in the studio? Yes. We actually, April the 20th, I'll be dropping another project called Grown Man Music. Shout out my brother, Chris of the Front Runners, Chris and Drea of the Front Runners. They did a lot of work with Logic and Young Thug. They've done some work with Young Thug in the past too. He produced the whole project. It'll be 7 to 8 songs, but really just on some grown man music, man. You know, I'm at the point now where I make the kind of music that I want to make, but it's not basically, I'm really rapping about my life. I ain't shot and killed nobody on this music, on this project. You know what I'm saying? We talk about investing in businesses and those type things, but you know, it's jamming. We still did it together the certain way. One of the first singles will probably be Texas Thing. If you heard H-Town for Real and how we put that record together and how big that record got, Texas Thing is gonna be like the Texas version of H-Town for Real. So it's gonna do well. It's gonna be well received.
You actually have a song called "Believe in Yourself." Can you tell us about that? I really like that name, by the way.
I appreciate you. So whenever we left the station, everybody was waiting for me to make some kind of like grand announcement. And for me, man, it wasn't really about the announcement. So I hooked up with Vando. Shout out Vando. He's from Third Ward as well. And we really did Believe in Yourself, which really was just an ode to people that don't mind stepping away from the conventional to be unconventional. A lot of time, whenever you do things that are not normal, people are judge, criticize, talk bad about you. You know, when I walked away, the first rumor was, man, he got fired. No, I did not get fired, period. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, we don't even, but it's people that really thought that. So my thing was, now Believe in Yourself was just me reminding you, man, you got to really believe in you. If nobody believe in you, God didn't give them the vision. He gave you the vision. You got to remember there's a difference between being early and being wrong. A lot of time when you're early, it looks wrong. But in 2 or 3 years, when a lot of people that y'all look up to as media personalities are doing what I'm doing right now, y'all be like, dang, bro, was just early. He wasn't wrong. He was early. There's a huge difference. So believing in yourself is just, hey, man, you got to believe in you.
Appreciate it. So Haley McGrew asks, do you feel the industry treats men and women equal? If not, why do you think that is?
No. Let me say now, I don't feel like the industry treats men and women differently. I mean, I do feel like they do treat them differently, but it's starting to backfire now because now a lot of program directors are women and they're hiring other women. If you look now, it's like a backlash. Now you see like a whole bunch of female DJs that are starting to get opportunities that they may not have gotten in the past. So it's kind of like a reset button. And a lot of it is just based on your relationships, though. I will tell you that the way the industry is set up, it's about the relationships that you have. So again, and then it's just some things in radio that I don't feel like will ever change, like a midday girl. A lot of times people tell you, no, the midday shift is for women. You know what I'm saying? So,
wow.
Even if you look here in Houston radio, there are no midday guys. You know what I'm saying? Look around. Go do some. There may be 1 or 2 midday guys, not many. You know what I'm saying?
I'm thinking about it. Yeah.
and it's been like that for forever. So does it treat us equal? Maybe not. But there are certain instances where that helps and hurts in both scenarios, being honest with you.
So this is actually a really good question. Sir Charles wants to know, what is your songwriting process like?
Oh, man, Sir Charles, I'm a weirdo, bro. I don't drink. I don't smoke. I don't do anything. So for me, I really ride around and just vibe to the beat. And to me, the funniest thing is the words don't even matter at first. If you listen to the way that music has changed, a lot of time, especially with music now, it's just the melody and the cadence that gets people. So for me, I really ride around until I find a cadence that I like, or ride around until like a melody pops out, and then I'll build my words based on that. And then my recording process, I always record a dummy track of everything. I'll go in and record like a first take, go 1 take and put it down, and then I just won't do it again. I'll ride around and vibe, and then I'll go into the studio again and be like, okay, I'm ready to lay it down. We recorded H-Town for Real. Fun fact, I got my braces the day we did H-Town for Real. So I really re-recorded H-Town for Real about 8 times before you guys heard it. And to a lot of people, it probably was the exact same thing, but I didn't feel comfortable until like I got used to having braces. So great question.
Yeah, when you first get braces, everything sound different.
Yeah, just to you're like, man, can't do this like this. No, definitely.
Andrea Brown asks, what's one thing a young media professional can do right now that can see them on the track to be ahead? I'm sorry, I lost it. To be ahead of the curve. What do you think is the next wave in media?
You got to invest in you. You got to build your personal brand because this is what's going to happen. Remember, I told you this. As the industry gets smaller, the people who are the biggest will be okay. As the industry gets smaller, the people that are the biggest will be okay. So what does that mean? That means if you invest in your brand, and people start identifying people based on how professional does it look, the connection that they have with their market or their followers, you'll be okay. Because trust me, companies are always looking for a cheaper way to do it. A lot of times when they ask you these ideas, they're asking you for ideas to teach your replacement. Okay, listen to what I'm telling you. That's just a part of the industry. So again, how do you fight that? You fight that by you building that connection between your brand, and a lot of times that will keep you safe. Trust me.
Yeah, I think we're hearing something consistent. Build your brand. Build your brand.
Got to. It's going to come back to that every time for sure.
Because people are not going to come look for the company. They're going to come look for you. And your brand got to be on point. So build your brand, y'all. I have another question here from Crystal Mitchell. What are some tips for people in the broadcast industry to obtaining an internship opportunity?
Internships are funny. I'm glad you asked that. Because a lot of time people would say, hey, man, I want to intern at the station, but the station only had one internship, right? It's like one person we're going to bring in and give an internship. So what I would suggest, and this is free game, this might be the best advice you guys get all day. So write this down, screen record, do whatever you need to do. In whatever field you say you want to be in your local market, you should find those top 10 people. Reach out to all 10 of those people and ask them about opportunities that they have. All you need is one person to say, yeah, cool, come shadow me, or yes, you can come intern with me. Outside of the normal things. I was at the baby event, and somebody sent me a message after and said, oh, my God, I'm a journalism student or something like that. I had no idea who you were. My bad. I should have been trying to build with you. I didn't know who you were, right? A lot of time you will miss out on your opportunity because you don't even know who the people are. If you're a law student, there are 10 Black-owned firms here that would probably love to give you some information, that would love to give you an internship, but you don't even know who those 10 law offices are. If you're a DJ, there are probably 10 DJs here that are probably good people. Can I open up for you? Well, nah, bro, you can't open up for me, but I tell you what, just the fact that you reached out, next time I hear about somebody trying to have a gig and I can't make it, I'll, possibly give you the alley-oop. Hey, man, can I come open up for free? Man, if you're a DJ, man, I'll come open up for free, bro. This and that, man. I, for real, have given people opportunities that are on right now from just grinding. Like, hey, man, hey, bro, I'll come. And I'll be like, nah, man, I don't want you to do nothing for free. Nah, man, forget that money, bro. I just need. So what do I tell them? Cool. Let me tell you what I'm going to do. So then you go to the promoter and say, hey, man, I need you to add this person on the flyer and put their social media on the flyer. So now people know, because, again, whenever people start seeing you around other people that are doing it, even if they don't know you, they know Kiotti is a top person in the market. Who is this guy that keeps opening for him? Well, here's his Instagram. Now you've built the perception that, hey, man, nah, I'm right next to bro. Me and bro working. Boom. Now you have opportunities based on your relationships. You can't overlook that part. So, nah, definitely those are some important keys.
What would you say to the person that reaches out to somebody they really want to intern with, they really want to get some experience from, but that person completely writes them off?
Sometimes you go through 100 no's to get to your one yes. And that's real, man. In life, we all want stuff. And in your mind, that might be the best thing ever, right? That's not your yes. So if you get that no, you're going to keep getting them no's until you get to your yes. I knew music was my calling, right? Anybody that knows or that's around me, they will tell you that, hey, man, Kiotti probably is one of the best freestylers. He probably makes some of the most amazing music. In my mind, I know I was going from high school to the pros making music. I'm like, man, I'm in that thing, baby. It's time to go get this big record label contract. Let's go, baby. Did not happen like that, right? Did not go like that, because that no that I was getting from signing these bad contracts was my yes into the radio business, which really is where my calling was. Because again, for me, I'm a people person. It was never about the music. It was about, hey, man, how do we get out here and impact and touch these people with the love of God? How do we get out here and show these young brothers that, hey, man, you could be a family guy and still be cool and still be industry.
Right.
You don't have to do drugs, drink, none of that, and you still could be the it guy. You got to think, man, I'm probably the most unconventional guy. I just work out. I love my wife and my kids. I own businesses. I'm not in the middle of nobody drama. Y'all ain't never seen me on TMZ, the Shade Room, Media Takeout, nothing, man. I'm just a regular guy that loves my family and loves my people, and I'm staying out the way, man. I just want to grind. I want to give me some money. I want to be sure my kids are successful, and I just want to pour into other people. That's it. That's all it is with me. So, definitely great question.
Everyone, we have our dean in the building, Mrs. Raquel Brown.
Hold up, I got it. I got it. Wait a minute. I got something for the dean. Wait a minute. Got it.
Oh, man, we couldn't hear it.
Oh, man, I tried to applause her up. It didn't go through. My bad.
Dean, you're muted.
Oh, wait. That's what happens when we're live, right? This has been, I had to get on camera because this has been phenomenal, and not just because we share a similar last name. I'm a Brown.
Come on, Ms. Brown. Come on.
So it's been a pleasure to hear you. What a phenomenal kickoff to our Comm Week. I was jotting down. You gave me tips and pointers. You blessed me with what you shared. Because I just thank you so much for taking time out to provide our students with an overview of your journey and some of the things that we know that it takes, that we try to preach and instill. But it's one thing for them to hear from us old fogies in the classroom, or that have not necessarily been in those studios as the talent, but to hear it from you means so much, and is so much more impactful for our students. And I just can't think of a better way to have our programming kicked off. I mean, you talked about networking and branding and relationships, and that branding and relationships. And I just want to share, when I teach our intro class, I require the students to network, to start doing those informational interviews. And you said, and it just warmed my heart to hear you say, volunteer, reach out, keep going. No one is going to be impressed or compelled to get back with you. You have to show that this is what you're about. And so I just think that this has been phenomenal. I hope that you will join us again to share with our students again and again and again outside of this. I wish you nothing but the best. I look forward to being present and available when you drop Inside the Culture. I'm a sports fan, so it takes me so many other places, and I think that is a phenomenal idea, and I wish you nothing but the best. And I just wanted to thank you for being here. Like I said, I was trying to take notes, but you just dropped so much valuable, insightful information. And one thing that I want to speak to that you mentioned early on is that you're not doing this for the financial reward that comes with this. And that if you were looking to just have this lucrative financial career, that you may have left radio. And I can say that, in looking at even, resumes, looking at those salaries, and you'll never know that because you recognize the names, but you don't know that it's about the passion and the love for the craft that keeps us entertained and keeps us tuning in. And it's not just that those that are entertaining us and keeping us tuning in are making all of this money. Those are the big names. right?
Yep.
And so I just want to thank you for sharing that, but it doesn't mean it's not a rewarding and fulfilling journey or career, but it's about doing things for the right reasons. And I just, thank you for, tapping into that. I just thought it was just phenomenal, and I couldn't help myself but to take up time on camera. So thank
No,
you.
no. It's love. I appreciate that. Two things real quick about what you said. One, that is a real fact. You can't let it be about the money. When we walked away, and again, I'm always talk about the things that I share and that I'm on the same page with my wife, because you got to understand, we walked away from a 6-figure job for real, and it's not every day that you let your moral and your principles take you away from a 6-figure job to do what you feel like morally is right. So that's definitely one thing. Two things, Mr. Rushing, I have to.
Yes,
I
sir.
thought of something, young brother.
Yes,
Here,
sir.
here goes the key, right? We know we said you might get 100 no's, but everything that I tell you is always going to go back to something that I said before. It's about the relationships. There may be times where you will get a no from somebody, but let's say just hypothetically, Dr. Brown. If Dr. Brown says no to something, but you have a relationship with Kiotti Brown, you might be able to go to Kiotti and say, hey, bro, I really felt like this was a good fit for me, and here were the reasons why. Do you think you could go talk to Dr. Brown? And based on our relationship, I'll say, you know what? Let me go holler at Dr. Brown for you. When one of my peers comes to me and tells me something I might have missed, I'm more inclined to listen because, again, I respect their professional opinion. So a lot of time, those no's that you get, use your relationships, man. It's people all the time that I will, as a believer, I'm gonna say intercede. Okay, it's people a lot of times that you'll intercede for, and just it'll be a real situation, and you'll be like, you know what? Nah, bro, you messed that up. That might be somebody good for you to build with, or somebody good for you to deal with. So again, those relationships that we talk about are some of those things that can help them no's turn into yeses, or help you get to the door. Because you may go to somebody and say, man, I got a no, and they'll say no, you ain't need to be over there, no way. So they got such and such going on. You'll be a better fit over here, and they'll point you to your yes. You know what I'm saying? So definitely, we can't overlook those things.
Can I ask you a question? And if you spoke to this, I apologize, but I do think it's still something worth emphasizing. And that is, you mentioned brand and relationships,
Mhm.
but that brand, and I heard something, talent is good, but talent does not win over hard work. So you might have
Absolutely.
someone that's not as talented, but that has that strong work ethic. And I can tell just by your commitment that your work ethic is also a part of what helped to propel you through your journey. And that's not to say I don't know you, but there probably might have been other people as talented or more talented than you, or had other skill sets that maybe you didn't have. But it's very obvious in listening to you that you prepared yourself in those other areas and used those not so desirable moments and opportunities and channel those into what you wanted it to be. And not even what you wanted it to be, but more than what you even thought it could be. And I just think it's so important for our students to hear, and our audience to hear, about the importance of not only that work ethic and that talent. I mean, not that talent and relationship, but the work ethic and what that does for you.
Let me tell you something. God must have told you to ask me that question, Dr. Brown. Let me look around and make sure. I've never publicly shared this story. This is going to be a story and exclusive for my family at TSU. Let me make sure ain't nobody listening. This is going to be one of them ones. All right, check this out. This is a true story. Whenever I got the opportunity to go to 97.9 The Box, they did the background search like they do on everything, right? These folks said, hey, man, you do not have your high school diploma. I was like, no, bro. I got the papers. I got everything, right? Boom. Do y'all know that based on some of my high school activities of being a class clown, I had detention hours that I never went and got rectified, correct? I have a note from here at the house right now that says, hey, we got your application here at 97.9. We're sorry. You lied on your application. We cannot let you through into this job. You lied on your job application. I said, God, dog. Man, do you know, I went and told my boss, again, relationships. This is somebody who wanted me to be on the team, who went to their uppers and said, hey, explain my situation. They said, I don't know what you have to do. You have a week to get it right. Do y'all know I went to my high school, talked to my assistant principal, who at this time, now he's like the big principal at the high school. Do you know he referred me to a GED program that allowed me to take a test to get a diploma so I could get a job at 97.9 The Box. This is a true story. Had them people told me no, and I just been like, man, dog, I ain't gonna do it. You know what I'm saying? No, man. I'm the most unconventional. I'm the business card for hard work beats talent. I didn't go to college, none of that. That's not what I did. God opened the door because of the work, because he saw me working. I really did all the work. When I started, Devin, to tell you, I was $10 an hour. It wasn't no big, great job. This $10. We worked to get there. So again, you can't never outdo the work, man. You always, and now, Dr. Brown, we call it the process. So a lot of time people do be saying the same thing. You can't skip your process, man. The hard work gotta be there. We call it the process, but at the same time, you can't overlook that process. You definitely got to do the work.
Thank you. That's exactly, what no one gave you anything.
Right.
Your preparation and work ethic propelled you so that when opportunities were available and even when they weren't, people wanted you on the team. And I think that that's so important. And I think it's also important for those, to not give up, even though that next stepping stone may not be the place you want it to land. It may not be where when you threw that stone, it may not be where you wanted that stone to land, but it landed in that spot for you for a reason. And you have to, I think it's about taking advantage of each opportunity, no matter how big or how small, and showing up to do it well, even when you're not in the forefront, even when you're not the one that will get the credit, but still doing your due diligence, because others will observe that and still say, hey, who is that?
Yeah.
And so thank you all. Thank you so very much.
Thank you, Dr. Brown. So we have to go ahead and wrap it up. We're running out of time. Kiotti, stay on for this. Real quick, we have a trivia question, and I want to ask, who is the first person that responds to this will get a gift card? Who was the TSU student that won 3 Grammys? Go.
Kim say, don't answer. Okay.
Come on, y'all. I know y'all trying to make this money.
They on Google right now. They like that.
Y'all, somebody should be responding right now.
I can't believe you all know the answer to this question. Come on now.
Thank you, Sir Charles. Sir Charles, drop your email in the chat, and I'll make sure that gets to you. All right, so we got to go ahead and wrap up here. Thank you so much, Kiotti. We really appreciate you at TSU. You dropped a lot of gems today. I really hope everybody that's here picked up on that, took your notes. Please, obviously, he's open to you reaching out. Hit Kiotti up on his socials. Can they hit you up on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook?
Yeah, just hit me on whatever, man. I'm pretty good about getting right back to people. And again, man, it's love. I really, really appreciate just the time and even people listening. I never take it for granted. So thank you for real for the people that stopped and stuck around. And Dr. Brown, I have to keep on doing this community service so one day I can get that honorary degree. I'm gonna cry. I'm telling y'all.
We're gonna work on it. Look, we're gonna work and get you that first one. We're gonna get you the honorary School of Communication degree first, and then we're gonna work on that honorary doctorate. Okay.
I'm telling you, y'all playing. I'll mess around and come back. I'll come take me some courses. My wife would love that.
We actually welcome you to enroll, as a student, so we can help you not only have an honorary degree, but an actual bachelor's degree and whatever else you want to pursue in academic pursuits. We would welcome you to enroll.
Dr. Brown. We have
Adams, I know our assistant dean Adams is on, and he'll get you the application. I see. He just commented. Yes, please. Come. We welcome, working with you and welcome the opportunity to support you as well. That's what it's about. So thank you, and we will certainly look forward to having you back with us again in many ways, and not
Man,
just
listen,
on the
I
platform.
would love to be a TSU student. I feel like that was one experience I missed out on, just to have, like, to be alumni and just have people that, are family, and that extra love, and, just, it's just that sense of pride, like how, the same way y'all feel about the Megan Thee
It's
Stallions. People like, they went here. I want the city to be like, nah, he went here.
our department chair, one of our department chairs just said, come on into Comm Studies. We'd love to have you. Come on in. Come on
All right.
in.
I think we done started something, baby. Come on now. I think we done started something.
Oh, they
Well,
told me they need to get to our next guest. I'm sorry. I'm
Yes.
messing
No,
up.
I'm gone.
Thank you, Kiotti. We appreciate you. Thank you, Dr. Brown.